And we're going to go back to that little piece that we started yesterday. I know there's an interesting, excuse me, comment on number Kaf Dalit, Kaf Dalit. Uh, I'm not sure I understood it all, but let's read from what number Gimel it says. Ray befavor Talmud. So now we're getting a flavor for the different commentaries that they're choosing to look at. Shabir Khan befavor Rishon. So apparently he has two forshim here, or two pirushim. The most of all Malchus, these words, Shena'as Bekitrug, that Malchus now comes and goes into this concept of his complaint of that where the Malchus is another word for Halvana, so I'm thinking that it felt that it was the tail of Kedusha. But also at the same time, if the Rosh L'Shualim, perhaps he means it's the beginning of Bia. Behind the Zav of the Tzilus. So there it is. Zon of the Tzilus. Rosh L'Olomos Bri and Sir and Asiya. So that's what he meant. It's some kind of an interface there. This is what it means when it says that its tail is at its head. Kolomer Zonav the Chatzila Berosh Bia. Now, what's complaining? What is Malcolm's complaining about? Is one second. Lefi Kabbalah's Maurice Rook. So now we're back on. I'm not sure exactly who these people are, but Maurice Rook. Ma'asa Makbas is Pashtus Eric Anpin Lamata. How does it happen? Because Eric Anpin spreads downwards. Shahusa no Mispasha the Khan. It goes back to the previous note that we have been working on where it says that it spread out from this side to the next. Of Zelda Shona Badilov, Yedua Masha Kosef Eitz Chaim, he says, and here's that Kaf Dawah, we'll come back to it. Should be his pashtus Eric Anpin Lamata, as Eric Anpin spreads downwards. The tikkun is kitzvos. He comes and make a tikkun in the malachim shemesu, which he's calling here the Zion kitzvos, the shiv regalim, the part that's broken. The nidbukul base kitzvos. Now this is Eric Anpin is what he's saying. So Eric Anpin is spreading downwards. As he does so, I guess, in some way, he said the nidbukul base kitzvos, that is the kitzvos, I guess he means the malach and the shemesu, but netzach arich anpin, the base kitzvos behod Eric anpin, and so that we see that the malachim shemesu, as Eric anpin spreads, they start to cling on to different aspects of their anpin, the right side, the netzach, and then the hod. The base kitzvos be yisod Eric anpin, or Malchus Alehem. And Malchus is, I don't know, on top of them or considered along with them. And this is how it is that these broken Malachim and the seven spheres that we're talking about, the broken, they were called the Kudim, how they become sweetened. So this is the concept now of Zan Bavaresha, this is what the Zohar says, Ihu Vanasa Ve'ihi Behod. Like he's talking about here, like gathering up these different parts. Is that the male parts go onto the right side, and the of Netzach, and the female parts, I guess, aspects, come onto the left side. And because I looked at this word Zacha, so it looks like the daughter of the Malchus. I got the translation that meant moved. So Zacha Daito, the Malchus. So I'm not sure what that meant. If you know, please tell me. Or Shalom, because her life nidbak the Sifra Shalema with a complete Sfira. So what does that mean? So let's say we're both together. Zochadaita of the Malchus, the Fisha or Shalom nidbak the Sfira Shalema, because her light was still clinging to a complete Sfira. The Sfira shall Eric Anpin, who hold the Eric Anpin, because she's on the left side and clinging to his hold. The Tiferes Zerahanpin of the Sferes of Zerahanpin. So I guess he means to say Netzach Hod Yisod, Netzach Hod, and Tiferes being in the middle. Shuhu Kolum Mivov Kitzvos, which has Vav Kitzvos in it, Lo Yesh Lo Od Rak Spira Achas Shuhu Netzach De'erik Anpen. I'm not sure I could translate that. Let's try it again. He says, because he's working in the word, whoops, we lost him. Oh, here we go. I can't get the speaker on. There it is. All right, so let's try to work on this a little bit. Let's go to the beginning of that line. It says the fi shaho or shalo choyin nidbak b'sefira shalema shel erikanpin, because the light. He's Let me go back even further. He says because Eric Anpin is drawing these things to the right side, the left side of Eric Anpin, so we understand it because the Malchus, because her light, Shel Eric Anpin, was clinging to complete and total Sphira, which we understand is from Eric Anpin, Shehu Ho de Eric Anpin. So the Nukva, I'm not sure what that Zacha word means. Of the Tiferes, that is the Tiferes, which is another word for Zeranpin. Shuhu Kalum is Vav Kitzvos, which has Vav Kitzvos in it. Lo Yeshlo Od Rak Sphira Achas, Shuhu Netzach, the Erikanpin only has one Sphira, which is the Netzach of Erikanpin. Now, he says that Tiferes, which has 6 parts to it, has only one sphere connected with it, which I guess is Tiferes of Erikanpin. Excuse me, the Netzach of Erikanpin. Because of this, it caused her to become the tail of the line, meaning she's at the bottom of Atzilus. So Hayidula the Hachmei Emes. So he says Reba Eitz Chaim, Rosh Hashanah, L'Olamos, Bri, Yitzira, and Asiya. So all of that, we understand that, but this part up at the top, I really didn't understand that very well. Now let's go over and look at the number 24, number 24, that's in Spanish, number Kaf Daled, and let me see, get me lined up a little bit better and see if we can't see it better. Okay, Esher Shitzarek Legros, but Bahachetz. I don't know what that means, but it's a little over Bahaschalas Chachma. That's what he says. He says you read like this with the beginning of Chachma. Oh, we lost him again. No, he's still there. Bahaschalas Chachma. Okay, you do Sefer Ma'ayin HaChachma Nikra Maka Bekodim B'Shem Haschalas Chachma. So he's saying something that the beginning of Chachma, that should be the language over there. I don't know. Okay, Niska B'Shem Zera B'Hagolas a sefer called Shever Yosef, the Ode, and more. Ray b'ma'ayim achachma shel sham v'zel lashona. Now let's get into the language that I'm really trying to work on. Over his kafel netzach and hod yisod in chetzi teferes. So he says when they join together with the nai of Eric Anpin, koltu v'halo imo hazayin oros mechakelim. Then they bring up the lights from the kalim Shenishbru that broke Shenaflo Labina that fell from Bina. So in other words, the original Likudim. And when he says, what was his? His Kafel Netzach and Hod Yisod in Chetzi Teferes the Eriganben. I'm not sure what he means by the word his Kafel, which means the double. But I guess he means to join together. That's his language. V'hashisha kitzvos mehem niskabsu kul b'makov echad, and the 6 kitzvos is Zeranben that's the broken malachim, and the oros of the broken malachim. Now that's what we mentioned. He says they all get together at one place. The Haida Netzach, the Rich, they all come over to the right side of the Rich, to the Netzach. V'nispashta b'kol ha'eser, the Netzach, the Rich zeh. And what happens to these six malachim that he's talking about, or the malachim? He says they all start to spread through the 10 spheros of the Netzach of Eric Anpin. Amnam Asvira Hazayim, but what about the seventh sphere? Shehu Malchus, Beli Shalom Nishvach Abakli Shalom Rak Nismaya. Now, I've kind of heard this before, but I thought the way that we learned it in the Yotzes Chaim that it did break also. There were reasons why maybe it didn't break, but I don't really remember. But he says over here that the sphere of Malchus really never broke. Instead, it was kind of squeezed or smashed. Zocha daita olecho. So here's that word Zocha daita olecho. The little rods of Zocha the knives in b'sheish kitzvahs b'netzach. So I guess Zocha a daita olecho should change their mind, and she didn't want to go over with the kitzvahs of netzach. So all he says all of the kitzvahs, that is all of the broken shvira, the oros, and for the shvira. 6 of them went over to Netzach, but she didn't want to go there. And she went in by herself into the Hod of her. So this is what the Zohar says, Ihu b'Netzach. So he says, okay, that we actually did lose in there. Okay, you're back. So he says the Knos Imasheshkin, she didn't want. This is what Zacha died to. She protested, and she didn't want to go over to the place where the other 6 were. The Niktasach of the Vada V'Sochaho the Erika, and she, that is her particles of Kedusha, I guess they're going to be gathered up unto the Hod. And that's where the Zohar had Ihu rather, Benetzach, V'ihi Behod. This is what it means. That's the split. This is a split he's talking about. She didn't want to go over to the right side. She wanted to stay on the left. Behind is there a Zaire Niknas Benetzach. That is the 6 kitzvah. Ihi, that is Malchus, to who Malchus, she goes to Hod. So that's where she started to complain. Now let's go back. The 6 kitzvahs are called the sun. So this is the argument between the sun and the moon. He said the vok of the broken kalim. Shenikness of a benatzach nikra zer v'choma. So in other words, zer is referring to the 6 kitzvahs, and the choma is the sun. So this is the sun and the moon. A malchus shenikness behod, and malchus which goes into hod, nikra yareach. She's called the moon. V'chakitra kayusha amro. So this is what she complained about. This is what she said. 1 second. See what she said. So that's what we understand. She always says the Hainu, but we need an explanation. So let's talk about Tiferes. So Tiferes says for the Chaz of Lamata, it's the oros that are there are Ben Gilui. The Hainu v'chetzi atachton shal Tiferes shenisha megula. The Nikwer Kesser, and now he says he uses this language. That part, once again, he says the height of the lower part is called the Kesser. Why? The Fishu Kedimion Kesser the Netzel Behod, because that part of the Paris is considered to be the top, like the crowning part of Netzach and Hod. So then a Kodesh Baruch Hu says to her, L'chi u'ma'ate etzatzmich. So make yourself small now. Now, I just like to read it again because I didn't really get the connection. So she doesn't want to go over with. I guess we're saying that her nature is that she's on the left side, but she likes the left side, the side of Din. which does the portion. She does all the motherly things which are didn't. So he says, I guess that makes sense. Let's go back to the top line. So this is what she complained about. She said, she didn't want to be over there with them and just be under Netzach. So he says like this, what are we talking about? Where do we get the word keser from? We guess we got the keser from the fact that the chetzi tachton of the Ferris, the nai of I'm thinking it's a nai, but he said no, it's the lower, let's say the lower 2/3 of the Ferris are on top of Netzach and Hod. The Nikra Kesser, and it's called Kesser the Fisha, who could move Kesser the Netzach and Hod, because that's what it's like. It's like it's on top of it. The Oz Amallah Kodesh Baruch Hu. So when she said this, and I want to go over there, she says Amallah Kodesh Baruch Hu. Okay, you don't want to go with them. The Chiyum Ayatatzmi. Now, still, I'm not sure where I got here. I'd count Achshav V'Ayin Zechav Rei B'Sefer Shefer Yosef, so you could see this over there in that Sefer also. Let's see if we can get into this a little bit. V'Hin Derech B'Lashon now, whom B'Sefer Ma'ayin HaChochma. Polna Tavkuf Nun Aleph. I guess Polna is a place. I don't know. That's I think that's the date of it. Shedinfas Ayedech of Reb David Horowitz, Yachidim Sefer Reb Adni. So apparently, Amnam Yedullah Shebesefer Ma'ayin HaChochma, Mechadoras Amsterdam, etc. Taf Yud Beis. He said Nidfas Ayedech of Reb Lozer Kalmamanka, V'Nidfas Gam Besof Ashar Yehudim. So all of these names. Yesh became Harbek and Posafos Meha. I don't know what that is, that mole. I don't know who that is. Commotion Zion the mole. Damasham. Going through all these names. So he says, and he said, Begam Kam Yesh Hosafa Ayadeta Rebbe Lozer Kolamanka. He says, so these are site references, all these different pieces, people. Kadimya Aish. So this is like, you can make it a comparison to fire. His karva ish cotton ish gadol. When you take a small fire and you put it next to a big fire, so he says ish cotton lahagadol. So this is the same thing. The gam came arich yosef bahir v'godol ma'od mezayim kolek kalim. So obviously arich is going to be much brighter. I can't. V'inach of himself a mamash is a gam kan b'segur sugriim. B'sof Rikia, he said, who continue the Aish. Okay, so I'm not sure, like we bring in these things, these are like dropping names over here, these different metaphors, but it's not quite, flowing for me. So then what? Yudaleg, it will skip, I don't know, skip, we jump Aisha Cotton to the Aisha Gadol. You can. So he wants to say that this is the opposite. Eric Anton is a tremendously powerful light. These are little dim lights. And the dim lights are extremely attractive to the big lights. That's what I understand from this. V'chein kulkan is the same thing here. Or Eric Anton zach. It's completely pure. Ubahir, shine like crazy. Yosim in the or shall zayin kalim. More than that. And I guess that's all I have today. Thank you. Okay. Stuff like this and stuff I don't know. Don't get me wrong. But, you get a lot of people like yourself who knows